Hello, everybody. Hi there. It is Jillian, founder of Catch My Party, founder of the Milo Tree Pop-Up app, host of the Blogger Genius podcast, and the creator of this Facebook group. And this is also streaming to my Milo Tree page on Facebook and my YouTube account. Whoa, crazy. So this is StreamYard, which is a service that I can do this on, and I'm just getting comfortable with all of this crazy stuff. So first of all, I just have to say, I recorded a podcast interview just before jumping on, and I interviewed, Marika, who is the CEO of Yoast, which is super cool. And we talked all about SEO and optimizing posts and what does it take to create a really good post on WordPress that gets found on Google. And that's going to go live maybe about 4 weeks. And I really liked her. And what was fun is she's in the Netherlands. That's where Yoast is located. And now I feel like I have a friend in the Netherlands. So the next time after coronavirus and the next time we travel to Europe, I told her that we would go and get coffee. And I have to say, just saying that, reading the news today about the vaccines and thinking that at some point we will get to the other side of this and maybe Marika and I can grab coffee. There is nothing that makes me feel better for today, just because especially since our numbers are rising and I'm feeling like we need to really hunker down, there's this sense of when can I ever get out of my house? And so anyway, that was my dream now, is to go to the Netherlands. If you've been to the Netherlands, let me know. Leave it in a... Hi, Anina Bell. Hi, so glad you're here. So good to see you. How's your baby doing? I don't know how you are on Facebook with your baby and why you're not sleeping right now. And thank you for the sleeping tips. I really appreciate it. So I just have to tell you guys, I have been having a really hard time sleeping. And sure, it's, the world and stuff, but I don't know, maybe it's hormones. And I asked you guys in the Facebook group for your recommendations for sleep. Oh, you're breastfeeding. Yes. I've been there for many, many years. Anyway, I asked for advice on ideas for sleep. And one thing that a couple people recommended was using a sleep mask. And I have a sleep mask and I hadn't even thought to use it. I had just started using earplugs. However, I used the sleep mask 2 nights ago, and I have to say, so far, because I know that like when you have a baby and you think you get sleep together and you think your baby now is like the best sleeper in the world and then it all falls apart. I feel like I could be like that. But right now, for the last 2 nights, using my sleep mask and my earplugs, I have gotten good sleep. So I don't want to jinx it. And I've cut down on my caffeine, and I will try and do yoga before going to bed tonight, kind of like a hard yoga class. So I get a workout in and get stretchy. And then I hope that I can sleep again, because it has been like the hardest thing that I've been dealing with. And I've been reading all about what to do for sleep. So thank you everybody who gave me advice about sleep. So far I have to report it's starting to work. Knock on IKEA desk. There you go. Today I wanted to talk about my most recent podcast episode. If you've heard it, please put a comment in the comments, because it's all about perfection. And Anina Bell, you could speak to this, because being in our last coaching group, what happened was I was in the group, in our first coaching group, and I said to the people in the group, hey, perfection is not going to cut it, because as a blogger and an online entrepreneur, you need to learn to move quickly, because you need to test stuff. And if you are holding back and not wanting to press publish, not wanting to put your your services out there, your product out there, so that you can get feedback, you are wasting time. And remember, time is money. And it was so funny because in my first coaching group, when I said, okay, so perfection's not going to cut it. I do not want A+ work from you. In fact, I want B level work. And then I thought about it and I said, no, I don't want B level work. I want B- level work. Oh, good. I love that. Anyway, and it was so funny because everybody started laughing, thinking that I was joking. And I wasn't joking. And then there was almost this like realization of like, what is she really asking me to do? B- work? Like that's failure level work. And I said, no, it's not. Because think about it, B-, it's still above average work. So I'm asking for above average work. I'm not asking for crappy work. But your ability to do B- work is probably so much greater, and you could get so much more done than doing A+ work or even A- work. And it's funny because I really struggle with this. I have struggled with perfectionism my entire life. And I share this in the podcast, but I really think it's true. And you can tell me if you guys feel this way. I think somewhere along the line, I was a really good kid. I worked really hard. I was smart, and I got props for all of it. And I'm sure my parents thought they were doing such a good job because Jill was such a good student and Jill was so hardworking and the teachers liked Jill. And, but I think as a child, I confused achievement with love. And I confused it externally because I thought that the only way that I would get love was by achieving. And then I confused it within myself. So I could only feel good about myself if I was achieving. I internalized it. I remember being in my first job out of college, and I was working at Disney, and I had to do a presentation, and it didn't go well. And I had made an appointment for like a manicure, an inexpensive manicure. And I remember not allowing myself to get a manicure. And again, this was not like a fancy manicure, because I had to punish myself for not doing such a great job. And it wasn't even like my fault. It just didn't go well. And I felt and I had to go back to bed and really just lick my wounds. And I don't know, it took me a couple days to recover, to get back out of bed, and to think that I was really worthy of friendships, love, fun, a manicure. I think it took a really long time for me to go back and get a manicure because I felt like I had to pay penance for this. And I spent so many years in this cycle where and so every single time, there was something to do or something that I was going to be evaluated on, it was an opportunity for me to be found out as the poser that I was. And so anytime I did it and did a good job, it was like, phew, it wasn't even a celebration. It wasn't that, oh, wow, look at me, I'm so awesome. It was, wow, I fooled them one more time. And I was continually waiting for the other shoe to drop. And I think, and by the way, this plagued me. And when I was a writer in Hollywood, it would take me forever to finish my scripts because if I handed them in, I was going to get feedback. And you always get feedback. And a lot of it is negative. That's just the nature of how it works. But it was so painful for me that I would rather hold on to my work and not hand it in so that I didn't have to then spend 3 days in bed recovering. So I don't know if this is speaking to any of you or if it resonates. And I think that's exactly how I feel about being an expert. I love, Casey, welcome. And that's so interesting. Yeah, you feel like a poser and you feel like somebody is going to call you on it and you're going to go, oh my God, they see through me and they know the truth. And I am not worthy of love. I mean, that's at the bottom line. Like, that's it. I'm going to be embarrassed. I'm going to be more than embarrassed, probably more toward humiliation. And I am not really worthy of what I have or the people around me. And that it's like, it's amazing that they like stay in my life and they stay my friends or that they love me. I mean, that's so weird, but it, like when I say it out loud, it sounds ridiculous. But if you were in my head, you would totally see that it makes absolute sense. And by the way, like I didn't come from a family that was abusive or they liked me doing well. But if you asked, like, and it was predominantly my dad, and if you asked him, of course he'd be like, no, I don't tie success to love. But you know, so again, it's not like I have this horrible story, and yet it really messed me up for a long time and still does. Like, it's not like, oh, I got to the other side and I'm on my mountaintop now talking to you and going like, oh, you know, someday you could be here too. It is a daily struggle. However, a couple things helped me shift this. First was David, my husband and partner, and I, we quit our jobs. So it was like all on us. If we did not make money, we did not have food on our table. Like we just said, screw it, we're going to take our fate in our own hands. And it was really exciting when we said that. And then the reality hit and it was really scary. So what happened was, on one hand, I'm this like insecure overachiever. And on the other hand, I'm going, oh no, I don't want to starve, or I want to be able to pay our rent. That was like my thing, is paying our rent. And it made me go, what I'm doing is not working because I can't work fast enough, because I can't let go of things and put them out there and be judged. And then I realized, well, if I'm going to make money, I have to. And I think that what I realized was that even when I got not such great feedback, it didn't hurt as much, because I think I was now obsessed about rent. So it was a weird way to kind of trick me out of perfection into, like, you know, if we think about Maslow's pyramid, if you know what that is, it's like our basic needs are at the bottom of like food and shelter. And then we move all the way up to like self-realization. And like, I couldn't be thinking about self-realization. I was thinking at the bottom of like, I've got to get food on the table. And I think that helped me start to break the cycle, because I had to put stuff out there and I had to figure out what would make money for us. And I had to move faster than I wanted to. And I think I realized that I didn't die and that people didn't take their love away in the same way that I thought they would. And then I had to really think about myself, and could I love myself or like myself even if I wasn't working at the level at which I expected to work. So does that make sense? Anyway, so that what I realized, and then, you know, over time, I have read stuff about this and heard stuff like, hey, perfection isn't profitable. And I'm like, yeah, that is true. Or this idea of, I think I've quoted this, Reid Hoffman saying, like, if you've shipped your product, which means like anything, and you're not a little bit embarrassed, you have shipped too late. And I find that to be so powerful, that other people are willing to kind of say, be embarrassed. And I think that the older I get, the more willing I am to be embarrassed, because what I realize is people aren't real. This is another one. And this is weirdly painful also, but here's the secret. People are not thinking about me like I think they are. And in a way, that is so freeing, because who cares? You know, maybe you go, God, Jillian did a really bad job at that. And then 2 seconds later, you're back to your own life. Like, you're not sitting here going, we need to revisit what a bad job Jillian did. You're just not. You're too busy. Okay, let's see. Shifting into a private group is totally foreign to me and super scary, embarrassing. Oh my God. So this is your new group that you're talking about. But here's the thing, Casey. People, one, you're probably fooling them, because I've seen you live and I know what you're like, and you're so delightful that chances are people are in no way judging you or not feeling like you're up to snuff. And, you know, I think that what people are responding to is your warmth and your honesty and you putting it out there. So I say, go be embarrassed. And that's the other thing that I told my group was, hey, be a little bit embarrassed. So I could see them cringing. So we're going back to that story when I told them, I said, B minus work, and they were horrified and freed up at the same time. And I said, it's okay to be a little bit embarrassed. And, we don't want it. Like, embarrassment is one of those awful, awful feelings. And I think as women, we are much more apt to say, hey guys, like, I see the pimple on my face. So if you're looking at it, just know I already know it's there. Like if I might not be, I might really not know what I'm talking about. So I just want to say that up front. So when you notice I don't know what I'm talking about, like, you won't judge me so harshly. And I've decided, like, now I have these certain rules in my business. I don't apologize. I mean, if I really hurt somebody, I will. But for example, let's say I haven't sent an email in a while, and you've gotten these emails, I promise you, from somebody. They go, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I haven't sent a newsletter in so long. And I'm thinking, I'm too busy in my life that I don't remember the last time you sent an email or newsletter, and that I'm sitting here disappointed. But now that you brought it to my attention, now I'm going to think, oh, wow, yeah, that's totally not cool. So I now won't apologize for stuff like that. Like, if I screw up this whole thing, I'm not going to apologize for it, because chances are it's probably okay. And you're busy in your own life, and you've got to you got to make dinner or whatever it is. So just know that people don't think about you as much as you think they do. And it's because I'm on the inside of me, so all I see is me. And if you have a teenage kid, this, like my daughter, who is 13, her world revolves completely around her. And it's not because she's an evil kid or anything. She's like a lovely kid. It's just that she's a teenager, and you can see this is like their brain development. But she is so obsessed with herself. And I feel like she's got this universe. And every so often I come into her universe and she sees me like, oh, there's Mom. And then I go out of her universe, and like, it's as if I never existed. So, but we all are kind of like this. And therefore, we're not as important in other people's eyes as we think we are, which is really good, because it frees us up to be okay being embarrassed, and be okay not having it all together, and showing our vulnerability, and me sharing that I felt like my parents loved me because of my achievements. I mean, that's like, what? And so what my hope is this connects with you on some level beyond just you judging me, and that maybe I can provide some value. So Casey, what I would say to you is, think about all the value you're providing in your private group. And my hunch is that people are getting community, and they're getting knowledge, and they are learning and connecting with you. So please don't underestimate what you are providing. And knowing the way that I know you, chances are you're owning anything that's awkward or that doesn't go the way you want it to. And then people love you even more. I think the more we show our necks, like our vulnerability, like we don't have to be the alpha dog. We could say, you know what, I'm just making this stuff up and I'm doing the best I can. And hopefully that's good enough. I think that is the answer. So if you struggle with perfection and it limits you, and it's kind of like shackles, please email me at Jillian@milotree.com, because I would love to touch your perfectionism with a little bit of kindness and a little bit of grace. And then hopefully you can touch it with some grace, and that we hold on like this, and that maybe we can loosen it. It's funny. I'm going live with a podcast episode on Wednesday with my friend Melanie Ferguson. And we talk about putting ourselves out there on Facebook doing lives. And she's like the expert. Like, I look to her for just advice. And I feel like, wow, she's got it all together when it comes to going live on Facebook. And she does it so much, and she does crafting, and her community shows up for her and they love her. And she said, it's always weird. It's always a little bit uncomfortable. And I was so happy when she shared that, because it's weird for me too. And the voices in my head start going and judging. And so it's really nice to know that we are all in this, and we're all feeling very similar feelings of not being good enough, not loving ourselves enough, not giving ourselves grace, holding ourselves to some impossible standard. And not that I can get past this, but it's something I can chip away at. And the more I chip away at it, guess what? The more freedom I have to go, you know, like get up at bat and take big swings and swing for the, what is it? Fences. Swing for the fences to see what happens. To see, are people rejecting me? Actually, my Facebook group's growing. My business is growing. So maybe my narratives in my own head aren't necessarily super accurate right now. And so I wanted to really be honest about this. And I will say, if you can chip away at this little by little and be uncomfortable, that's the other thing that I tell my group, which is, I would say this, oh my God, that's so funny. I honestly think this is the human condition. I think we all feel this way. And especially because growing businesses on the internet, I'm alone. I mean, I have David, but I'm alone in my own head for a lot of the day. And while I really like that because I am an introvert and I don't want to go to an office and I don't want a lot of people around me, I'm with me. And sometimes that's a rough neighborhood to be in. I don't know if you feel that way, but I can get really hard on myself and that can feel really uncomfortable. So I say to my group always in the first week, I say B- work. And I say, if you give me A+ work, I'm going to be disappointed because I know that was too much and that energy could be used on something else. And I mean that. And I say, get uncomfortable and embrace the mess and be a little bit embarrassed. And again, you can see everybody's face is like kind of horrified. Like, what did I sign up for? I thought she was going to teach me about SEO. And what I shared in my podcast episode is when I ask people to fill out surveys at the end of the class because I always want to learn what did we do well, what do we need to work on, that kind of thing. And always the concept of B- work is what people talk about the most. Almost as if like I have read their minds and that we're all in this struggle together and that I've given them a way to articulate a strategy where they don't have to kill themselves and that building a business and being a perfectionist aren't aligned. So by me saying that, I think that they have now a dialogue that they can have in their own heads that I have with myself, where it's like, oh, no, this is what I need to be doing. I just need to do a little above average and I've hit it and I've gotten there. And I think that is really the narrative that I try to tell myself. And hopefully that is a narrative that you can use as well, especially when we're kind of like shooting daggers at ourselves. I don't know if you've ever had that experience where you really beat yourself up. And so if I can help give you a little bit of grace, a little bit of kindness, and that you can go, ready, you could go get that manicure, but just not during coronavirus, but that you're worthy of it. You really are. So I hope that you can feel that and that we can all feel that together, recognizing that we all at times feel worthless and unlovable, and we feel like what we're doing, that we're posers, that what we're doing isn't authentic, or that somehow we're fooling people. All of that stuff, it's all real and we're all in it together. So if this speaks to you, please reach out to me, either leave me a message on this video or DM me or email me. I'd love to hear how you think about this and maybe what strategies you use to keep going. And this is funny. So I was talking again to Marika from Yoast, and we were talking about this idea that I really believe if you are an online entrepreneur or a blogger, if you can stay in it and keep going and keep building content and keep building your business piece by piece, that you will have success. And it will probably happen slower than you think, but if you show up, you will do it. So to think, it's not going to happen overnight necessarily. I mean, maybe for somebody, but not for many. However, if you're strategic, if you make a couple of smart choices and you show up again and again and again, you can really make it happen for yourself. I'm a big believer in that. And so I am here cheering you on. And Casey, I am super proud of you with everything that you are building. Anina Bell, I am super impressed that you are showing up. And for the other people who are here, please know that I'm here and this group is here to support you. So there you go. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday. Stay safe. I think we are just locking it down. And my husband went to Trader Joe's today. I don't know if you have Trader Joe's where you are, but this is how kind of sad our life is. I told him, I said, just go buy weird stuff, because Trader Joe's has weird stuff. Go buy lots of weird stuff so we have interesting things to bake or make during Thanksgiving week, because I don't think we're going anywhere. So if you have any recommendations for weird stuff at Trader Joe's, I would love to hear it, because that is how we're going to be entertaining ourselves all next week. So have a great week. I will show up again this at some point, and I really wish you the best, and B- work all the way. Okay, take care.